Hi, this is Heather Pelletier from Matsu iTech, and I'm going to be going over lesson 4.3 from Algebra 1, Semester 1, the slope-intercept formula. Slope-intercept formula is expressed as y equals mx plus b. When you look at a slope-intercept formula, you need to understand that you're working with a straight line on a graph that has an x and y coordinate. X and y are your points on a line, and they'll be expressed as a pair. M is your slope. And slope is the rise over run, which would be the change in your y value divided by the change in your x value. And slope is usually defined as a fraction. B is the y-intercept, and that is a point that you're going to know where it is on your line. And that is where x is equal to 0, which would be where the line actually crosses over the y or your vertical axis. One thing you're going to want to notice when you're looking at your y equals mxb is whether your slope is positive or negative. Positive slopes will always have an upward trend looking from left to right on your graph. And you can see this blue line has a positive slope of 1 and it goes in the upward direction. Negative slopes will always go down from left to right. The red line has a negative slope of 1 and it will be trending in a downward direction. It makes it really easy to tell if you're graphing your equation correctly by whether your slope is correctly negative or positive. The other thing you need to know is you need to know where those values come from in your formula. Your slope is always the number with the x, and you want to express it as a fraction, so this would be 3 over 1. So in this particular number here, your slope is going to be 3, and your y-intercept will be 0, 5, because remember that's always going to be a pair, where your y value is this constant at the end. In your second formula, you have a negative slope, negative 7 over 1, and you also have a negative intercept, and this would be 0, negative 3. The third one's already written as a fraction, positive 2/3, and your y-intercept is 0, 9. From the slope-intercept equation to a graph, you first need to find your points on a line, and we're always going to know where our y-intercept is. And I have two examples here. And here, your first one, your y-intercept is at 0, 2. So I'm going to put my first point in at 0, 2. And then I'm going to use the slope to determine where the next point is going to be, and then I can draw a line based on that. So I have a slope of 6, and I'm going to express that as a fraction to make it easier for me. And remember that your top number is your y value, or your change in y. So I'm going to count it up, 6, and then my x value changes 1. So I'm going to go up from my initial point, 6 points, and then over 1. So I'm just going to count it up from my point here, 0, 2. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My change in x is over 1. So I'll come over to here. I'm going to put another point right here. And when I have 2 points, I can actually create a line. So I'm going to use my line tool here. And I'm just going to draw a line between these 2 points. And your line can stretch into infinity in both directions. Make sure it crosses over fairly closely. And there I have my line for 6x plus 2. Here's another one. We're going to do that one as well. And this one here has a negative slope of 1/4 and has a y-intercept of 0, 3. So first I put in my first point, because you always have to have 2 points. My first point is going to be 0, 3. And then I'm going to work out my slope by looking here. It's going to be negative 1 on the y, so I'm going to go down, and then over 4 on x, rise over run. So I will actually go down 1 and over 4. Down 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. I put my second point right here. And when I have 2 points, I can draw a line between them. So I'm going to put in my line. And again, your line can stretch off infinitely in either direction. You can use the straight edge to do this. And there I've graphed 2 lines on the same point, and you can actually even see where they cross. The next thing I need to do is learn how to go from a graph, and I have a graph here, and I need to actually come up with my formula. So the first thing I do is I'm always going to go with my y-intercept. And my y-intercept is right here where the line crosses the y-axis, and that's at 0, 1, positive 1. So my b value is going to be 1. I'm going to put that one in there. And then how do I determine my slope? I can choose any point along this line as a point, and I'm going to try to choose one that is easy to find, like here would be a good spot, or up here. I could use any one of these points and come up with the same answer, and I'll use this first one right here. And all I'm going to do is count my y value change, which is 1, 2, so it's up 2 and over 1. So my rise is 2 and my run is 1. So my slope is going to be 2 divided by 1, which is actually equal to 2. So the formula is going to be y equals 2x plus 1. And that's really all there is to it.